welcome to this ETE tutor video. This is for GCSE English Language Edexcel students, and we're looking at question 7, part B, the last question in section A of the paper. So what you need to do here is compare. So you're writing a comparative essay. How? So you're looking at the techniques that writers use. So compare how the writers of text 1 and text 2 present their ideas and perspectives regarding poverty and responsibility. So you always have a question focus. So here it's poverty and responsibility. So do make sure you address that focus when you're answering the question. And what you need to do is look at the big picture, so the ideas and perspectives. So you're considering site, so that's settings, ideas, themes and events in relation to the writer's point of view. So what they want us to consider, how they want us to feel when reading these texts. What you're looking at is to try and get a range of similarities and differences, and you need to cover language and structure and the aspects of sight as well. Okay, so have a look now at the two texts and try to consider how are they similar. So you can ask yourself a range of questions. Think about sight, setting. Are they both set in a similar place? Yes, here we've got them both set in India, so that could be one of your points. If you're thinking about the ideas, what are they about? They're both about poverty. They're both about the extent of poverty. We've got child slave labour and we've got starving millions. Themes. Well, with themes, you come back to your question focus. Themes here are poverty and responsibility, inequality. So those aspects need to come into your answer too. And then you're thinking about the events. What actually goes on in here? What do we learn? What references can you give to show that you've understood the text? So you need to look at the big picture, but you also need to think about language and structure and how these things are being used to make us consider the themes. So if you take a look at this first paragraph here, you might want to comment, say, on the adjective brutal. So it's extreme, it's showing how terrible this situation is. You might want to think about the use of rhetorical questions that attack the reader, the person who this writer says is responsible. You might also want to think about how the responsibility is different within these two texts. So here we see that the amazingly wealthy minority are seen as responsible for poverty because they aren't considering the welfare of the majority, and that the government plays a role in this. Over in text 1, the reader is considered as being at fault and not caring about child slave labour. So there's different responsibilities here within the two texts. So just have a think about them like this first before you try and structure your answer. Look out for how they're similar, how they're different. Try to comment on language and structure. Consider those themes. Use your subject terminologies. Make sure you back up your ideas with quotations. And remember, it's quality, not quantity. So do plan this one if that's what you're used to doing. Stick to the method that you've used in school, but just make the most of having these two examples now that you can work with. So apply that question, consider the techniques you've been using, look at the feedback you've had before, and I'm sure you're going to be just fine with it. Alright then, well thanks for watching and best of luck. As always, like and subscribe.